HS2.
HS2.
HS2. Fill me in on the
Something British.
information.
Something British. So
Something British.
HS2. HS2. If anyone doesn't know what HS2 is, it's high speed number 2. Basically, we have one. It goes all the way from France all the way into London. It's basically like the Channel Tunnel sort of thing.
Yep.
Now we have what's called HS2, which is going to basically join the whole of the United Kingdom.
Oh, exciting.
Or it was.
Oh, disappointing.
Until the 24th of September.
Oh.
The Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, has brought up concerns that it's going to cost too much. So the Birmingham between Manchester is going to be binned. And obviously we've lost Scotland anyway.
Yeah, Scotland.
So now it looks like you're only going to be able to travel to Birmingham from London.
Decent. Just what everybody's always wanted.
And if I'm sure, remember, I believe it would only give you 15 minutes difference between actual that and normal trains.
Oh, yes. 15 minutes. Just what everybody needs. Saving that 15 minutes, they'll just...
worth it.
15 minutes, you'll just lose waiting in line anyway.
So let's remember, for a matter of fact, that HS2, look at that number. How many employed currently with HS2?
Wow. 27,000 people.
27,000 people across the whole of the UK on 350 sites between London, the Midlands and the North West.
Damn.
How many of these people have lost jobs? How many contracts have been lost, do we reckon? How many more are in jeopardy?
That's quite a lot, isn't it?
The workers as well were not told. They found out through media.
Find out on Twitter.
Found out that they will probably end up losing their jobs up on the northern parts.
Shit. Imagine that, scrolling through Twitter for some memes and you suddenly realise you've not got a job anymore.
HS2 has been cancelled. So it's just another thing that's just brilliant about this United Kingdom at the minute. The UK is just an absolute shower of poo.
It's just an absolute shambles.
It's just terrible. It's another thing that you can just throw in there with NHS, our Conservative Party, Labour parties, our Green parties, our Lib Dem parties, everything. Right now, the police force, the NHS, your dentists,
just everything.
Your councils,
just all of
collapsing.
Just all of it.
Roads are in disarray.
It's all falling apart.
Smart motorways.
Smart motorways, that was a classic, wasn't it? Wow, that was literally nothing in the end.
Another thing that's just not going to happen now. Which is quite alarming, really, that we are one of the meant to be the first leading countries in the world, and we don't even have a surprisingly fast railway system that can get us around the UK to Scotland and Wales. We don't have it,
and
there are other countries that have it.
But the UK isn't even that big either.
It's not massive,
compared to like we've talked about before, compared to Texas or whatever. It's literally just a state. Like, the UK isn't even that big.
No.
Compared to pretty much every other country.
And France has already had something like this for, I think, 2 decades.
Have they?
Yeah.
Wow.
And to travel around France, apparently, is mental. Like, it's really fast, it's really efficient. We've got a lot of history in this country. I will agree with that. And going out in the countryside and tearing it apart is, like, a big no-no.
Yeah,
you're going to have National Trust getting out there. You're going to have the forestry companies. We're going to have a lot of English heritage getting involved with these things. I get that, I understand that. But you're going underground.
Yeah.
You're going underground in most cases. I'm not being funny. If I'm on a train and I'm travelling to Scotland for a 10-minute railway line, I don't give a fuck looking out the window.
No,
it's never going to happen. You'll never be able to do it to Scotland in 10 minutes.
You're not doing it for the views, are you?
Yeah. I'm not being funny. When everyone thought they were going down in the Channel Tunnel, everyone thought they were going to be like in the aquarium, didn't they?
Yeah, they could see the sharks floating alongside them.
It's not. It's a concrete tunnel.
It's just a concrete box or tube.
To look out of.
It's a concrete tube, and you
just smell fumes.
You see nothing. Taste exhaust. That's pretty much it.
So the Prime Minister has brought it to an end because obviously it's going to cost too much. It is it's worth billions, and they're trying to stop it getting any further. Someone has fucked up massively.
They must have somehow. I mean, I can imagine the calculations on this sort of thing before they start are quite impossible to know for sure anyway. However,
they're already over budget.
They must have known it some way, shape or form this was going to cost an extortionate amount of money, right?
And this is the thing as well. The extortionate amount of money it's going to cut off the north to the south again, so another massive divide.
Yeah.
Northerners are complaining because they're saying, why didn't you start off up north instead of London, where we've got major problems as it is with London?
Yeah.
Major disruption, major utility diversions.
So basically, it's now when you're going so far north.
It's only going to go Birmingham, which is like nothing.
Not actually that far up the country.
Countryside, is it? No.
Really?
I bet it won't. I bet it won't even get to there because I got a funny feeling that if it's got to that much budget now, I bet it'll only make its way to like probably just a little bit over Oxford.
Yeah, I mean, you can drive to Oxford in about 15 minutes, can't you? It's not even that far away.
So, yeah, HS2, United Kingdom.
We shall
Well
see
done.
what happened to that.
You've done what we expected. Nothing.
Which was literally nothing.
I don't know whose money paid for it either.
Well, I think
it's got to be ours, isn't it?
I think the thing is, they've done some stuff, but nothing of real like substance by the sounds of it.
You know what? There'll be HS3 next.
HS3, that would just be like an add-on to HS2. That gets you from Birmingham up to like Newcastle.
Along, you'll be driving along the motorway and you'll go, oh, like an abandoned theme park. That'd be HS2. Be like those motorways that they make up for like no reason.
Oh yeah.
And then it ends up the emergency services using for testing tracks for having like emergency stuff. But like they'll be like that HS2. You look at it and go, oh, HS2. It look like something out of I Am Legend.
Yeah, it's like a wasteland.
Like concrete wasteland with like weeds growing on it. Yeah, so fantastic result, I think, for that. It made it in the news this week because obviously it's been a long time coming. I think we spoke about transport in this country before. How it's shocking.
We have, yes.
So HS2 was going to probably stop a lot of people using flights to be able to go to Scotland.
You'd think so, yeah.
You know, it would have been great. It would have reduced emissions.
Because that is quite a pain, isn't it?
Yeah.
Having to get a flight to Scotland.
To get to Scotland or... You know, this would have probably stopped it, but
no, not now.
Nah, not now. I don't think it's going to happen. So the Northerners to the south, massive divide again. Well done.
There you go.
I don't know who was in charge, but I think you're getting sacked. Well, you probably are sacked.
I'd imagine he's been sacked.
But this is the thing: they employ these people that are managers that are like degrees, masters in doing stuff like this, and they couldn't fucking make a bed.
No.
This is how you should leave it to someone who's done it.
That is the problem. There's a lot of oversight of people who don't really understand what's involved, and they kind of sign it off. They push it to be done faster.
And you know what the funny thing was as well? The transport minister wasn't even in the country at the time when they were discussing this, so they had to have the aviation minister speak about it to speak out.
That makes
so someone who has nothing to do.
That makes a lot of sense.
With but aviation, I'm pretty sure that was it. I'm pretty sure it was the aviation spokesman. Or spokesperson, because the transport minister was not in the country, he was away on holiday.
Why not? Why not?
Fucking ring him up.
Or just postpone it. Postpone it until later.
If that was me at work and I was on holiday and I don't know, an incident went down, it was all hands on deck, they'd ring me up and I'd have to go.
But surely he's going to be back like next week, right?
100%.
Just change it.
Not like he's gone 6 months.
Just do it next week.
He probably won't be back. He's probably extended his visa over there now and he won't be back.
They're like, oh, we're going to do it next week. He's like, oh, I'm off for another 2 weeks.
I've got COVID. I'm going to have to stay over it.
Mate, you've had COVID for the last 2 years. What are you talking about?
You barely come into the office now.
So, yeah, if anything updates on that, we will update the people.
Thing is as well, I think one last thing. This was brought in years just before. We do Zoom calls now. Yeah. There's no need to travel in the country anymore. There's no need to go to Birmingham for a meeting.
Not really like it was. I do think that's been ridiculous for a long time.
So it's Zoom now.
Going up to Newcastle just for like a 10-minute meeting and you got to come home again.
It's basically just go piss up for the managers.
Yeah,
all the work don't get to do it, do they?
No.
But yes, so we'll keep you up to date on HS2. We'll probably see HS3.
Yes.
Next 20 years.
We will. HS4 after that.
Be HS38. Be like a Fast and Furious franchise.
It will be, won't it? Each one getting more ridiculous than the last.
Donald Trump himself.
Well, 50% of us are.
50% of you, yes. Under 50%. Republican elephant.
If you couldn't tell.
So what does this mean? What did he do? What did he do?
Well, the first thing he did was he overvalued, was it Mar-a-Lago? One of his franchise property things. He overvalued it by 2,300%. That's quite a lot, isn't it?
Jesus Christ.
And how much did he overvalue his penthouse by? he claimed it was 3 times its actual size.
I mean, I don't know what the Trump house penthouse looks like. I don't know. I've seen the building, just don't know what it would look like inside. I don't know how big it would be. I don't imagine it's as big as this room.
The brilliant thing about it as well is they're apparently sort of their counter argument is that the valuation, like the size calculation for the penthouse is subjective. It's like, it's not subjective. That's literally just how big it is.
That's how big it is.
You can't just
anyone ever go and like.
You can't just decide how big you think it is.
Why don't you just ever get like and go and estimate, like go and have an estimate?
Yeah, that's so weird.
What's that all about? Like, if I'm not being funny, if you claimed that, you'd be like, well, okay, we're going to do some measurements. We're going to come by this.
Well, I assume what's happened is he's got measurements through from someone, and then he's like, "Ben, can you add 2,300% onto that?"
Add 2 zeros, add 2 noughts. Fucking hell.
Apparently, overall, he's tried to overvalue his properties by $2 billion, which is quite a large chunk of change, isn't it?
Jesus Christ. The trial is exceeded to begin on the 2nd of October. Ooh.
Interesting.
Tomorrow.
It's not very long, is it?
So, and could last at least till December. That Ms. James is seeking £250 million in penalties to ban on Mr. Trump doing business in his home state. Okay, what's that, New York?
I'm not sure what his home state is, actually.
I don't think he cares.
I mean, I don't think he gives a shit, to be honest. But
New York's going downhill.
I couldn't imagine he cares. But
no.
But I think at this point, it's just kind of funny because
New York's like our Grimsby.
Yeah, but like when you think of like Donald Trump, nobody's really surprised by this. Like everyone knows he's a dodgy bastard. Like nobody thinks anything else.
He's a clever businessman.
Like nobody.
That's all it is.
Nobody thinks he's a perfectly straight moral guy.
I mean, let's just get on this. How are 9 times out of 10 most of these people made wealthy? By having a bloody good man with a calculator, isn't it?
And I mean, I also think a lot of it is probably not always properly doing business in the legal way.
No, exactly. You know, in this country, tax evasion. There's a lot of it that happens in this country. You've got accountants that go, join the £50 club, and they could make your £4,000 wage still look like 3,700, and you've paid no taxes because apparently you earn 1,000. You know, that is the only way that these people stay rich.
Yes,
it is by doing these things or
yeah, that's very true. That is very true.
All he's doing is he's just finding ways of how he can make better profits and make better money here and that off his estate.
And it's one of those as well where you think, yes, it's immoral and it's not legal half the time, but you also kind of got to think to yourself, if anyone else was in his position, the average person that's kind of slating him,
God, they would do it.
They do exactly the same thing.
Half these people that run these countries have got their money in like Swiss accounts and everything.
That's
like
what
that,
I mean,
you know,
like
Swiss banks.
And yeah, he's obviously wrong. He's been caught out. So yeah, go after him, fine. But I don't think anyone should be surprised at Donald Trump at this point.
It's not something Batman would go after him for, is it?
Probably not. No.
You know, not like the Japanese.
I can't imagine he's going to.
You know, Batman has no jurisdiction.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's not something. It's just another thing that they're just pulling out now because obviously we're getting so close to the election for next year.
I think the thing is, I don't even know if anyone I don't think anyone who already supports Donald Trump cares.
No.
Because they already know he's like this. So it's not going to turn those people off.
He's already got a majority of the community.
So it's like
if he goes to prison, he's more down to earth than anyone else.
You don't even really see anyone talking about this anymore because it's kind of just like, it's just him, isn't it? It's just Donald Trump. It's just what he does. Nobody cares.
I mean, how does an ex-president, how does someone that is still given the term President Donald Trump go to prison?
That'll never happen.
He won't be in with inmates, will he? Won't
just in Gen Pop.
Like would Secret Service have to sit in there with him in like orange jumpsuits as well?
Yeah, imagine he'd be on like some prison island somewhere, wouldn't he?
That's what I'm saying.
Like living out.
No. What do you think you're going to get by prisoning?
It would never happen, though, would it? Not someone with that much power.
Has to pay for him for security anyway.
Yeah.
He's still given an armored vehicle, and he's still got aircraft.
That's the thing. Someone with his much power and money and influence, people like don't go to prison. Like that doesn't really happen.
I don't know where this is going. It doesn't make sense.
No, I think a lot of it is to kind of drag his name through the mud a little bit.
But what is it doing? It's not
the thing is,
him, is it?
Nobody cares because he's already a dirty bastard anyway. So like, no one cares. No one cares if they think, oh, Donald Trump does something bad. It's like, well, yeah, that's what he does. Like, no one cares.
I just physically don't see where this is going to go.
No, it does seem all a little bit.
Where this is going to go.
I kind of get on the one hand, like making him pay for any crimes he's committed. Yeah, that's fair enough. I get that. But you're never actually going to be able to charge him to the full extent of the law like you would the regular person.
You won't see him do time.
Like, it will never...
He'll just pay his crimes.
Yeah, it'll never... Nothing will really ever come of it, so it does seem a little bit
He'll
pointless.
just pay his crimes. I honestly don't see where this is going to go at all. He's not going to prison. I don't know where people get in this absurd idea.
I'm going to see him in a jumpsuit somewhere.
Joe Biden worshippers have got like this idea that he's going to be behind bars, like...
I don't think some people have any idea how the real world works.
At all. This is someone... And then he ain't going to be in Gen Pop, is he?
That's what I mean. He's not going to be in there, like, at the table with his meal on his little still...
Trying to take, like, Epstein's Island and make into, like, a cell for him, like you said. Like
the Trump Prison Island.
Trump Prison Island. But he'd have to still have Secret Service with him, because he wouldn't have...
Yeah.
He couldn't... I just honestly don't see it. These charges again. These are just another thing made by the New York case. I mean, I'm pretty sure New York are against him anyway.
I think the thing is as well, like, yeah, people are like, oh, I wonder if he did it. People who are against Donald Trump and for Donald Trump are both like, well, yeah, he probably did.
I've done it anyway.
Because like no one cares.
All of them have done it, haven't they? Hillary Clinton, she did it all, especially when he outed the majority of them on there. I mean, like Joe Biden, look at his son. His son's just been found for criminal charges for saying that he wasn't on drugs when he was purchasing handguns and weapons.
Was it? I didn't see that.
So, you know, like, no one's a clean record. No one's a clean slate. You know, Joe Biden, we've still got a lot to see what comes of him. I mean, we know he likes kids. So, you know, there's...
I don't know anything about this.
You can see the videos, man. But I just honestly don't see it. No one like that, no president is going to do prison time.
No, you'll never.
Unless you're like the president of Uganda.
You'll never see him behind bars. All you'll really see is some kind of house arrest at most. Even that.
Could be tagged.
Even that, probably not.
So we tagged to the White House, to the Oval Office. Imagine that. He gets presidents, but he can't.
He's not allowed to actually leave the White House.
He gets sworn back in, but he's not allowed to leave the Oval Office at certain times of the day because they go. He goes to step outside on the front lawn. They go, "Oh, whoop, whoop, whoop. Where are you?" He goes, "I'm just calm down. I'm going back inside." Just sort of thing, you know, like. Okay, what are they gonna do? Send a police car?
Yeah.
Who ain't going to get clearance to go into the White House anyway.
No.
So,
they'll never see
someone get off your fucking high stool. He isn't going to do time in prison. He's just going to pay his crimes, isn't he?
Yeah, of course
he just have to sell some of his estate, if anything. 250 million, that's what they want to do for a penny. That'll probably be dropped.
That's what happened. He'll just pay it to go away. He'll pay it away, literally. Isn't it?
It's like famous footballers being charged with something, isn't it?
Yeah.
They just pay for their money. You can't put them in prison.
No, not really.
Because they just get... You know what happened then in prison.
Not good things.
Not good things. I'll just say 5p to 50p size. But yeah, so I think that's enough for Donald Trump this week. I don't think there's any more on him.
I'm sure the big man will be back next week.
Big man. But we're going to carry on this one because we're going to stay in the White House. We're going to stay with the White House. We're going to talk about President Joe Biden.
Mr. Biden himself, the mumble man.
The mumble man. The man who's Sleepy Joe.
The man who can't string a sentence together.
Has a dog, doesn't he?
Does he?
Yep. I'll show you.
He has a dog? I didn't know this. This is news to me. Joe Biden's got a dog.
And the dog has been brought up in the news this week. Do you know what the dog's name is?
What's the dog's name?
Commander.
The dog's name's Commander.
So today's headline on the Times is Joe Biden's dog, Commander, must be trained.
So the news of this dog is basically that he just likes to go around biting people, apparently.
Yeah. 12 times, I think it's bitten someone.
12 times?
So, here we go. On the bloody...
The Intelligencer.
The Intelligencer.
That's not a word.
No. So Biden's dog is just allowed to bite people now. I mean, he's a good-looking dog.
He is a very good-looking dog.
I'm pretty sure it's a rescue.
You can guarantee as well if this was someone's dog, like a random person's dog, he'd have been put down after the first bite.
All day long. Secret Service agent would put it down.
Joe Biden's dog, though, 12 bites later, they're like, do you reckon we should do something? Nah, it'll be fine. Funniest thing is, if you said to Joe Biden, has your dog bitten anyone recently? He'd be like, have I got a dog?
Where am I?
He wouldn't even know what was going on.
Have a look at that. Dog Commander had taken up a new hobby. rapidly biting humans.
Loves a chunk of human flesh.
So apparently it's like been 12 times or something. First one was also I care about the first cat, Willow. Okay, anyway, moving on. But yes, so the dog has bitten someone. They think it should be muzzled or basically trained. Secret Service member, so badly that they were sent to hospital.
Yes. Well, it says here he's been involved in at least 10 reported biting incidents.
There you go then. So I think that's quite like. What do the Secret Service do? Like, do they just
try and look the other way?
Just stand there and part with it.
Although, just to clarify that, he was in at least 10 reported biting incidents in late 2021. So there could have been like 2 or 3 times as many by now.
And just stands there and just gets bit and goes, "Yes, sir, Mr. President, sir."
With the dog hanging off his arm like that. He's like, whose dog's that?
Is that her? No, sir.
President's like, that looks like my dog.
So,
he'd never do that though.
Who are you? As he asks them as well.
He's like, who am I?
Fucking hell. You just pull the weapon out, wouldn't you, and just fucking silence it. Marking the 11th commander related in the show, Biden's dwelling home. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear.
So I wonder what will happen with the dog. Probably absolutely nothing.
It was 8 p.m. as well. Secret Service uniformed division police officer came in contact with the first family pair and was bitten.
Literally trying to protect the president.
8 p.m. Literally, like.
Poor guy's just trying to do his job so he can clock off and go see his family.
It's literally.
And Biden's dog's going around ripping pieces of the dude off.
Oh, that's brilliant. So when the dog bites someone, he shruggingly says, "Yeah, he does that sometimes." Isn't an expected answer, even if you were the president.
Yeah, he does that sometimes. He just loves a chunk of human man.
Just imagine him saying that with his aviation glasses. He takes it up and goes, "He does it sometimes."
Just the guy's got the dog hanging off his arm, like, "Help me, Mr. President." He's like, "Yeah, he does that sometimes."
Oh, I can imagine he'd be saying it whilst talking to the wall.
Yeah. He's just like, "Yeah, he does that sometimes."
So, yes, so that is some more news from the White House.
Inside the White House.
Inside the White House.
Joe Biden's dog loves eating people.
Yeah, loves beating on the Secret Service. I mean, would you call that service-related injury?
I guess so.
Do you reckon they're covered for that?
Do you reckon you can get like a Purple Heart or something?
Purple Heart. Oh my god. Purple
Injured
Heart.
in the line of duty.
Purple Paw or something.
Purple Paw.
Purple Paw. Fucking hell. So yeah, so if you're the Secret Service and you work for the president,
wear gloves.
Wear gloves or one of those massive suits that police training people wear around his dog.
Yeah, next week, if he's bitten anyone else, we'll do another update. See how many he's bitten by the next video.
Dog bite, get to the end of the year, 38.
Yeah.
20-mile-per-hour zones and LTNs. We've covered this before, haven't we?
We have covered the 20-mile-per-hour zones.
ULEZ, LTNs, and 20-mile-per-hour zones. The UK is attacking motorists in a minute.
Yes, trying to lower them speed limits to 20 miles per hour in a lot of places.
So if you hadn't heard, Wales did this, didn't they?
They did recently, yeah.
Not on every road, but the majority of roads were turned to 20-mile-per-hour zones.
It's not as if every road in and around Wales is now 20 miles per hour will
not national speed limit roads that went to 20.
No.
It's bad enough as it is when you get the caravans doing it. So yeah, Rishi Sunak votes to stop 20-mile-per-hour zones and to review LTNs, according to the BBC News. So what does this mean for the motorist? Well, he is trying to basically do one for the motorists.
It seems like he's beyond the motorist side. Apparently he's calling these harebrained schemes to try and reduce the speeds on the roads and try and, help motorists. But obviously he's kind of claiming that this is a bad idea and it's against the motorists.
So, funny that, considering the elections are coming up.
It is funny how that has coincidentally come around at the same time.
I'm conservative.
Do you reckon there's any legs in the coincidence here? Do you reckon it's pure coincidence?
All day long. At the end of the day, he's got to try and get as many people on his side. Actually, to be honest, I will give him his due. He is trying to do quite a lot to stuff that's been damaging this country for years of being under the Labour. A lot of people complain now saying that we've been under the Tory regime for about 20 years now, probably a little bit less than that. Yes, they're as bad as everyone else, but what I'd like to say is these LTNs and 20-mile-per-hour zones, they're not effective. Not effective at all. You haven't been able to come up to an LTN yet, have you? Where they put flowers in the road, flower boxes, and a bollard in the way.
No, I haven't. No.
London, they were everywhere. During
Are
COVID, they made a massive trial. They wanted to reduce traffic, and basically, you had to go out on your bike a bit more.
So how do they actually work? Do they basically just...
So let's take this estate here. The main road from the top here.
Yeah.
That would have a flower box on it.
Right.
You would then have to come all the way probably back down to the railway line.
Right.
All the other roads will have a flower box and a bollard on it, and a sign for no motorbikes, no cars, no motorists. You'd probably have to come in one way. Side roads would then have bollards, boxes, only emergency access use.
So it kind of reduces the traffic in these neighbourhoods.
Yes.
Although I would assume it probably makes it worse outside the neighbourhoods, right?
Yes. So what do you do with that traffic instead of it going through the neighbourhood?
Well, it's just rerouted around the outside, right?
Which makes
it just makes it worse around the outside, surely.
More congestion. Surely so actually it took pollution from one area.
I say, surely that's just like, instead of pollution being spread out across 2 areas, you've just moved it all into one, right?
What always cracked me up as well is that they put these pollution machines that basically pick up the pollution in that area. They always put them in certain areas and they move the stuff away from those. They move the problem away from those. So obviously the scientists get all of the good readings, only because they fuck the pollution off somewhere else.
They haven't actually reduced the pollution. They've just pushed it over there.
So, you know, like this really affected companies. This really affected like HGVs. And it really affected the emergency services because obviously people were like just parking anywhere then with these things in the way. And they was actually blocking emergency services. We actually saw an ambulance couldn't get down one of the emergency routes, so they'd allowed enough room for a fire engine. Actually couldn't get down there because of the angle of the road.
Fantastic.
And I remember we were working on the road. We had to push the flower box out the way to try and get them to come through. Yeah, they don't work. There's a constant battle with one of them at the minute in a certain area in England. They're constantly taking the bollard out of it. They're smashing the things out of the way. They've actually put fast, rapid concrete in the hole so they can't put it back in. The bollards have ended up in rivers. People have been taking them well away, miles away from where they belong, and throwing them in rivers. So the fight's been going on with like the Blade Runners and these people removing the LTNs. So like now Rishi's tackling this. I like the idea that he's doing it because it hasn't actually been proven that 20 is better than 30. Schools and hospitals, I get.
That does make sense.
High streets, I get.
I think with schools and hospitals, there's a real danger of injury,
which
that's what I mean. It's a high risk area of actual injury. That makes sense. When you're trying to do it for traffic calming measures, I don't know if it really works as well.
Well, it's already messing around with our public transport system. So buses, we've mentioned this before. Buses have ended up having to wait at stops 2 minutes longer than they have to depart from because they're still waiting for the bus up ahead to move from that stop.
Yeah.
So they've actually ended up with buses, like 3 buses stacking up at one bus stop, waiting 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So all these people have to wait. They're sat on the bus waiting.
Yeah, just waiting for it to move along.
So that's why they're putting USB chargers in the buses because you're going to be using your phone more longer.
You're going to be in there a long time.
So you have to charge it. I like the idea. I think it's like we all said, it's got legs in it, hasn't it?
I like the idea that he's on the side of the motorist. The only thing I don't like is it's a bit like he's only doing it because it's part of his election strategy. Like he's not actually doing it to help people.
Well, it hasn't come up like that, but this is what a lot of people reckon.
Do you know what I mean?
Strategy is to it, don't they? So
it'd be great if he just kind of come out of nowhere and he was trying to help the people, but he's not. He's just trying to stay elected, and that's the saddest part. I mean, it's a good idea, like trying to help, stay on the side of the motorist, but it's always with a bit of a tinge of, for fuck's sake.
Thing is, though, because Wales is under a Labour government, it's a Labour-pushed thing for the 20 mile per hour. So this reading here, this was a prediction that so the Labour-run Welsh government predicts the change will save up to 100 lives and 20,000 casualties in the first decade. Predicts.
In the first decade?
Yeah. So we're going on predictions.
It's not actually that much.
It's not at all. It's not saving loads of lives, is it? So it's like the ULEZ thing. It's not really save 4,000 people.
It's going to save 100 lives in the first 10 years. Surely there's better stuff you could do to save more lives in less time. Surely. Come on.
So the government said its plans would review guidance on 20 mile per hour speed limits in England to prevent their use in areas where it's not appreciated. Appropriate. Amend guidance on LTNs to focus on local consent and weight and weigh public support for those already introduced. So basically, probably things off.
Been a couple of them off.
Stop councils implemented 15-minute cities where essential amenities are always within 15-minute walk. That's true.
Yeah.
We've been speaking about that as well, 15-minute cities, and seek to reduce the hours where cars are banned from bus lanes. Thank God. Thank God, because I tell you now, driving 2 lanes, bus lane empty, lane 1
just traffic,
full of traffic,
jammed,
2 hours into London sometimes, and a bus route is just completely empty. Get the traffic flowing. Get it into there.
It seems like it would make sense in some situations, but I definitely like the fact that they're going to kind of try and stop its use where it's not appropriate, because it's not just like a blanket thing you can throw everywhere.
No, this is it. The only thing that he doesn't mention here is anything to do with you, Les.
I think that's a separate conversation altogether. Really,
I wish he would turn around to his little friend down in the mayor office.
His little friend.
He's only got to pop along, go and give him a slap on the cheeks and just say to him, sort it out.
Slap him about.
You've got all these people out there cutting these cameras down now, so you're clearly not. He doesn't care, does he?
No, I imagine not.
We'll just put vans out there and deal with it. So I think that's like you say. Is it a political game or is it actually him trying to do it? There you go. That's what they would do.
Oh, I see. It's a good. I'm glad that he's on the motorist side and kind of stopping this where it's inappropriate. But at the same time, he's obviously just doing it for election. So it's like
and zoom right in.
That is
road open to, I'm assuming, children and people, e-scooters, disabled people, and bike. Why does a guy in the wheelchair look like he's absolutely thrashing it?
He does look like he's going downhill, like for some super speed.
I mean, I'm glad to see that they thought about disabled people going through on a road. I mean, look at it. It just says it all. It just screams.
Yes.
Like, so these cars here wouldn't be able to get out of this junction. That's how the idea was. You'd have to travel 2 miles somewhere else. Oh, and look what's in the bloody corner. It's just everything in that picture.
20 mile per hour limit.
I mean, we built our roads off of what we already had, the Romans, and then basically had the horse and cart. If we all went round on a bike, if we went back in time now and took a bike, an Apollo bike, to our ancestors and went, that's what we're going to ride on in the future, we'd probably design every road to be about that skinny. Wouldn't we? And we'd probably have more land for houses. But we didn't. We built around the horse and cart, and then the engine replaced the horse. So, stop fighting it.
Yes.
I don't, you got these people that want all this. I wonder how many Amazon parcels get delivered to the house daily or weekly or monthly or yearly.
I mean, you would think none, but I bet it's a lot.
But I bet that they would still kick off and go, my parcel's late. That's because he can't get in the fucking
Where's my
state.
next day delivery?
Where's my next day delivery? It's being pushed back because Amazon got lost.
Amazon's going to take 3 days to get to your house because the flower box in the way.
LTN in, and it actually turns out he only goes down a dead end road, and the other side of that dead end road they done 15 years ago, they put 3 bollards across it so you can actually drive through it.
And you literally can't get to your house.
But because on the map it shows it's a road still.
You're just giving up.
So this is what I'm saying. So this is the argument I'm going to have with everyone, because you don't want big vehicles on the roads, then stop ordering things online.
I mean, it would help.
Because that's the argument, isn't it?
There's quite a lot of delivery.
I've seen it on the back of lorries before. Hate seeing the back of a lorry so much. Don't order online. I've seen it so much now, and it is true. It's, and then, I don't know, your toilet's blocked, and there's just stuff coming out of that toilet, but your plumber can't get in the estate because you Karen said, I want an LTM because there's too many cars coming through my road. But it just happens at the hours between 5 and 7.
Yeah.
When it's rush hour. Move house. I mean, I imagine that's what they look like, this.
That's the people that are voting these things in.
That's the people. Yeah, that's one of them. Paris Catwalk show. But yes, I think that's going to end that today with with the British.
Yes, the British news.
Rishi Sunak. So, do you reckon you'll vote for him?
Probably not.
Who are you going to go for?
I don't even vote, to be fair.
Reform UK.
Reform. Don't think I'll be voting Reform UK. I just like to look the other way and bury my head in the sand.
But the problem doing that doesn't solve the situation.
No, but the problem is there's no good solution anyway, so I just think, fuck it, what's the point?
There isn't, no, unless you're going to be the one running the area.
Well, exactly. Unless you're the one running, what's the point? You know?
You lasers.
I guess we will see. We will see what comes of this, if he does actually end up pushing back.
If he actually follows through with it. I mean, I imagine there's going to be lots of clauses in place. And
I imagine so.
I imagine the Labour government, the Labour are going to kick up a bit of a stink over this and go, oh no.
So, we will see.
Yeah, we'll see. Canada has a dark history with Nazis.
Say what now?
Political scandal prompts reckoning. So...
There's some interesting news in the week in Canada, wasn't there?
During the week, President Zelensky from Ukraine made a little trip over to Canada for his support and probably to get some more money off of everyone. He's going around like a little church collection.
He's got his hat. He's got his little cap out.
Little cup. Yes, and they were joined with a World War II veteran who fought against the Nazis. Sorry, Russians.
Fought against the Russians, did he?
Fought against the Russians. Okay, this is interesting. So obviously, everyone knows what's going on in Ukraine.
Yes.
Ukraine are at war with Russia.
Russia,
or Russia at war with Ukraine, however you want to look at it, whatever side of the defence you're on. But let's go back to World War II. Who was fighting the Russians?
I wonder.
Because it wasn't the British.
Not that I remember.
And it wasn't the Americans.
I wonder who we're forgetting.
Famous painter.
Famous painter.
Famous painter. Oh dear.
Yes.
Canada
made a mistake here, haven't they?
Justin Trudeau has been labelled a fascist.
He has, yes.
In the media this week. So yes, so what does that mean? The World War II veteran was a former Nazi soldier and wasn't only just a Nazi soldier, he was an SS Nazi soldier.
So basically, Canada have been given a standing ovation to a Nazi war criminal.
Nazi war criminal. Oh dear. And I don't have to say this no more. I don't think I need to say this no more. Justin Trudeau needs to leave. But did he leave? No. He made his spokesman leave.
He did, yes.
After it was the spokesman's mistake of not doing a thorough background check on the civilian that came into the House of Parliament. Now, where the hell how has he been all these years? Is he going to be arrested? And is he going to be imprisoned for what he did?
Yes, I would imagine he's probably been pardoned already.
Or Canada just going to hide him because they like the Nazis.
But it does seem interesting that they kind of didn't even do many checks on the guy.
It's terrible, isn't it?
They just kind of found out he was a World War II veteran and be like, yeah, come on, mate, you'll do.
But the thing was as well, when we said it was a standing ovation, it wasn't just one. Twice.
It was twice.
So they done one for Zelensky with him, and they done one for him.
Bloke stood there. Inside, he's thinking, "Oh, shouldn't be here."
What an absolute bunch of dipshits! I mean, it's gonna be the best South Park episode ever.
It will be.
We had Andrew Tate, South Park,
did,
and we're now gonna have the Nazi that was in
the Nazi in there.
America should have just invaded Canada after World War II, like they had planned all along. Just take that over. I mean, no one really wants Canada anyway. It's just fucking
frozen wasteland.
Frozen wasteland, and I mean, I suppose the only good thing is Vancouver. I suppose that's about it. Operation. But yeah, so what does that mean for us today? So obviously, Justin Trudeau, I think you need to stand down. You're obviously a Nazi. You obviously lift your arm up, and you I bet it's probably got paintings everywhere.
Do you reckon Justin Trudeau knew about this and he was doing it on the sly?
Well, the thing was, he'd have been heavily informed by who this person would have been.
That's why I can't get my head around. Like, there must have done background checks on him. All I can think is they did the background checks, saw who he actually was, and was like, "I'll be fine. Fuck it, it'll be fine.
No one will know, Roland.
It'll be fine. Chuck him out there."
I mean, we all basically know that Zelensky's currently having issues with part of his troops that are actually showing.
I think they're being classed as Nazi sympathisers, aren't they?
Nazi sympathisers.
Yes.
So, you know, and there it is. He was the SS first. What's that? Is it Galician?
Galician? I'm not really sure.
I don't know how you pronounce that. So he was in the 14th Waffen Grenada Division of the SS. So he wasn't only just a normal German soldier, he was a member of the SS brigade, which, if we remember rightly, if we've all seen our war films, were the pretty bad people. They used to just go around and shoot people.
They were the bad boys.
Yeah, they're the ones that committed multiple war crimes.
Yeah, apparently he immigrated to Canada in the 1950s.
Now, how did that... Says it all, doesn't it? You wouldn't be able to do... I mean, it's not like he's a scientist or anything, and they made him... They're like helping him with like nuclear weapons.
No, they pardoned him because he had all this knowledge.
All his knowledge, you know. He shot Russians. And... Please, someone apprehend him and charge him for his crimes, because I believe they are still hunting these people down. I mean, I'd like to know what the Jewish community thinks in Canada right now.
Yeah, I don't know what sort of Jewish community is like in Canada, to be honest.
No, they probably don't have one because Canada's probably full of fascists.
It's all just Nazis all the way down.
Nazis, sympathisers. So, yeah, so he had to apologise, but obviously he didn't apologise. The Speaker and the members of Parliament did, but Justin Trudeau actually hasn't made an apology. He says that, you know, it was made a mistake on so-and-so's behalf. And it was made on your mistake. It's your country. You run that Parliament. You're the one that's head of that party at the moment in time. You should now stand down and be arrested for what you've done.
I know Trudeau's obviously apologised.
Getting nicked for clapping, but you know.
I know Trudeau's obviously apologised, but I do think he needs to take more responsibility for this issue.
You know, we clap for the NHS or for our emergency services. They clap for a Nazi.
We clap for the NHS. They clap for the SS.
That should be the title.
That's the title.
This title for this one.
Canada claps for the SS.
Yeah. I mean, Trudeau apologised after a man who was fought in the Nazi unit was praised by the parliaments at Zelensky's event. I mean, did you see Zelensky turn up again to this? Just wearing all green tracksuits.
Oh, he
never turns up wearing smart.
I think the reason he does it, from what I've heard people say, is to make himself look more dishevelled. Even though he could turn up in a full suit, it makes you feel a bit more sorry for him that he turns up in like a tracksuit.
My suits were burnt.
He's like, because he looks poor and he looks kind of helpless. I think that's. I've heard that's why he does it. It's like a publicity stunt.
Oh, my suits were burned in the first bombings of the Russians.
Something like that.
So now I wear a green tracksuit.
Pretty much.
Trainers.
His only tracksuit.
But he looks really clean. Like if he was coming from like Libya, he'd have like blood all over him and like war-torn clothes. No, not him. I mean, how does he even get out of the country every time? How has like Russia not?
Yeah, that is weird, isn't it? But he just seems to be able to leave whenever he wants. That's kind of weird.
That's right. He goes in a tunnel under Poland, I reckon.
Tunnels into Poland and flies from there?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure someone's mentioned this before. And then he flies out of Poland or something.
Oh, right. Interesting.
That makes sense. But yeah, obviously he just keeps popping up all over the place at the minute, just asking for money. I mean, and they did it with a standing ovation of a Nazi soldier. Absolute laughing stock of the world right now. I want to know what America thinks. I don't want to know what Joe Biden thinks. I want to know what America thinks of it. I want to know what Americans think being assisted with this country next door to them.
I don't think Biden thinks so much.
Potentially the uprising of the famous painter again. I mean, of all the places as well. I mean, we all thought it was happening in Ukraine. No, it's happening in Canada.
Yeah, so it is funny. This is just one massive fuck up.
It is just one major.
But someone should have known this before he got as far as he did. This guy, like, they must have questioned him and been like, "So you were fought in World War II?" And he's just like, "Yes." Just no one
killed Russians are.
And they're like, "You'll do."
So what we did, and as he started telling the story, I stood up with a trenchant as I was wearing my grey uniform. They were grey uniform, and he said, "With my Menschenschneider, my SS lapels." Hang on a minute. Well, you said you had chevrons. Yes, chevron of war, veteran of the first war, yeah, and they're probably like that. Oh shit! He wasn't US military. As I had my STG-40. Oh wait, you didn't have a Browning? No, we didn't have those. We had MG42s and all that. Yeah, this is how it would have been. And someone would have gone, if I've done my history right, MG42. I was German, right? German.
Just see him up on stage, like, no.
Too late. He's already stood out, and everyone's like, he's just like that.
He's already up stage bowing.
His arms going up. And it's not the.
Everyone thinks he's waving.
Chinese cat that
Everybody thinks he's waving, but he's not.
He's just stood there in his head going, "Mein Führer, I'd be proud right now." Mein Führer. So a lot went on just then. Obviously, we spun off into a web with him, but should ignorance be a defence? No, he shouldn't. Trudeau should be made to apologise, and he should be made to stand down because obviously he failed. He allowed someone that was an enemy who basically was an invasive state that was taken over, killed millions of people. I mean, I'm not saying the Russians were good. Yes, he fought the Russians, but the Russians actually assisted us by going into Germany from the east, and we came in through the west, and we eventually eradicated the Third Reich. So this is a massive, massive problem. Like we said, there's no one doing background check.
I must have at least Googled the guy. Someone must have done something.
Googled him. Just punch him in on that search engine, he'd come up. And he's been living there since the 1950s. So a list of 250 suspected Nazis and collaborators. I mean, oh dear.
Yes. Interesting.
So I think that's going to spin that on that web tonight.
I think so.
Justin Trudeau, I think you've got to stand down.
I think we'll...
I bloody hate him.
Well, I guess we'll see what comes of this. We are live. We're live for the world to see.
We're live for the cool wall now. So the cool wall, not cool.
The cool or not
so
cool.
We got this in last week, and we hope it's going to be a standing trend now. So obviously last week Elon Musk made it to the cool wall, didn't he?
He did. Well, hopefully he'll stay there a while, but I guess we'll see.
We'll see. That was because he was going to start making people pay for X, Twitter.
Yes.
Justin Trudeau.
Justin Trudeau.
Nazi Justin Trudeau.
I wouldn't say that far, but he's the Canadian Prime Minister who obviously fucked up a bit in the week.
Seb, cool, not cool.
Oh, I don't think he's that cool, to be fair.
No?
I think he...
Would you like to hang the man up there?
I think he deserves a place over here on the not cool wall, doesn't he?
So he's up on the not cool wall this week. So if you...
I think that's where he belongs.
Go and look him up in the news this week. His Parliament actually applauded for a Nazi war criminal.
Yes.
So go look that up on Google. It's all in there. Well, not just Google. If you use just Ask Jeeves or anything like that. Yeah. And we've also got a segment for this evening. So obviously we found out yesterday that a famous actor had passed.
We did, yes.
Who has been in quite a lot of our childhood.
Yeah.
To be totally honest, he's been in quite a lot of films, but as a lot of most people would know him as Dumbledore.
Dumbledore. Michael Gambon?
Sir Michael Gambon.
Sir Michael Gambon.
Passed on Friday, I believe.
I think it was Friday, yes.
Which was the 28th, 27th of September.
Yes.
Very sad news. So
yes.
He is going to end up on the cool wall.
He's definitely going on the cool wall. Got to put Dumbledore on the cool wall.
So as a lot of people might remember, he ended up making the appearance in...
He started in the third Harry Potter,
didn't he? So,
yes, because unfortunately the first Dumbledore also died and was replaced by Michael Gambon. And do you know what? At first, a lot of people were kind of against him being Dumbledore.
Yes, they were.
But do you know what? I think he was the best Dumbledore.
I think he played a brilliant Dumbledore.
I think he played the best one.
So yes. So Michael Gambon, you end up...
You're on the cool wall.
On the cool wall. Rest in peace, I can say, and all to his family. I hope that all the family are well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll end that one there.